It's Power Ranger time, motherfuckers. Oh, yeah. It's always Power Ranger time in this household. Let's go ahead and set this up here. Yeah, I've searched this entire house and my tripod is still missing. No idea where, but I'm sure we'll find it eventually here. Let's see, can you see me on this spot of the camera? Pause the show so we don't need to worry about that. I know I'm way over here, but I wanted to get some kind of shot that at least showed a little bit of the lovely Power Ranger decor here. I mean, I got myself my little Funko Power Ranger section with my Bandai diecast items, including my Funko cereals, the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger movie, not Mighty Morphin, just the Power Ranger movie that came out just a few years ago. Of course, the Power Ranger Mighty Morphin first series, the collection on DVD. I don't know if you guys saw it, but they're putting out the Mighty Morphin movie on Blu-ray. Comes out, I think, in like July, I think. I will be picking that bad boy up. You know I will. So I dropped everything. Cool thing about this collection, it has a couple of things, because a lot of people are like, oh, we can watch everything on Netflix. Yeah, you can. But, one, you don't have a cool box set like this. And two, this actually comes with a couple things. One, it comes, because technically, the Alien Rangers was just a mini-series. It does come with the Alien Rangers in it. And it actually comes with a bonus disc, which has a couple episodes that aren't actually on the Netflix, such as Alpha's Magical Christmas. I'll tell you right now, not so magical. But God, Lord Zed's Monster Heads, that's an interesting one. But there's a couple other cool little things on this bonus disc. It's kind of fun to watch. Definitely was fun. It was from Shout Factory. If you guys have ever bought something from Shout Factory, they do some cool stuff. I'll probably buy some more stuff from Shout Factory, but this was a gift from my good friend Chelsea. Her sister is Rain Reaper on YouTube. Go check her out. She does a lot of cool YouTube videos. Either way, let's get back to and of course I'm sitting here with the lovely Saban's Power Ranger, the ultimate visual history. I know you probably can't see it. Let me see. Come in here a little bit for you. Oh my God, it is gorgeous. This book is just fantastically beautiful. Today I talked about before that I want to do a little segment on Power Rangers. So it's going to be split up in a lot of different segments. I've been re-watching the entire Power Ranger series from beginning to end. The reason for that is simply, one, it's my childhood. I grew up on this stuff. I was born in 1994. Power Rangers started in 1993. However, I was born in Banbury, England. So Power Rangers was pretty much just barely hitting England when I was being born. So I was able to kind of grow up on that, and then I came over and continued it when I came over to the States. But my love for Power Rangers grew. As a kid, I probably stopped watching it somewhere around Mystic Force SPD timeframe. I don't remember how old I probably was, like 13, 14, somewhere around there. I kind of stopped watching because, of course, back then, peer pressure, kids bully you, and you watch Power Rangers? That's stupid. And I'm like, I don't want Power Rangers. I don't want to know. So I stopped, and in the last few years, because of awesome companies like Funko and other nostalgic things in this era, I'm able to go back and relive what made my childhood so fantastic. Really, when it comes to my childhood, it was stuff like Marvel Comics. I loved, my Uncle Scott introduced me to Marvel Comics. They introduced me to comic books in general. But, I loved reading, I loved watching and reading Teen Titans. The Runaways. Loved Captain America. Loved the Avengers. Loved Spider-Man. Loved Venom. There was a short series called The Order. It was a really good series. I'm sad that it only had like 12 issues, but I have all of the issues. Fantastic little series. Actually, the even better one, I have it on the shelf here. Marvel did a really cool manga. It only had 3 issues. It pissed me off. Sentinel. Marvel, if you're listening, this was a gold mine right here. I have all 3 of your issues. I've bought them several times. I got issue 1, Salvage, issue 2, No Hero, issue 3, Past and Perfect. So these were actually really good. If you ever get a chance to look them up, they are fantastic. Like I said, going back to childhood, talking about Power Rangers, rewatching it. One of the cool things is, as a kid, you don't notice a lot of different changes, things. Thing is back then this was something that hadn't been really done. Saban took a Japanese show and cut bits and pieces of it and made it into an American show. So all the big action scenes and the fight scenes, 90% of it back in the old days was Japanese. It was the Super Sentai. I haven't got to watch too much of the Super Sentai. I am familiar with Super Sentai, and I look forward to trying to get my hands on some Super Sentai gear, and hopefully when I do, I can watch it and compare. That'll be really fun. But going back, like I said, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. That's where it started, right? So that's what we're going to focus on today, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. We started off with a Zordon was telling Alpha that we needed to find teenagers with attitude because, unfortunately, some astronauts on the moon released Rita Repulsa and her evil gang of misfits. So he he abducts, there's no good word to say it, but kidnaps, abducts, whatever. Jason, who becomes the Red Ranger. Zach, who becomes the Black Ranger. Trini, who becomes the Yellow Ranger. Billy, who becomes the Blue Ranger. And Kimberly, who becomes the Pink Ranger. Those, of course, is Amy Jo Johnson as the Pink Ranger. Billy was played by David Yost, the Blue Ranger. Gosh, I'm feeling really bad right here because I can't remember. I know I'm this big Power Ranger person and I can't remember off the top of my head like Trini's real name or Zach's real name. I know wasn't it like? God, I feel really bad right now. I know I'm not normally this way. I normally know all the names. I can't remember off the top of it. But either way, we introduced those first few Rangers. They have the Battle Rita. They get pulled into it. They're kind of a group of kids. You don't really get a gist of what year of high school they're in, because really how they all look like if they were in high school, they look like they're seniors. But seeing how Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was 3 seasons long, and all 3 of those seasons they were in high school, I'm gonna say we're not gonna get too deep into that. we're not gonna dive into that. They were in high school a little too long, in my opinion. Especially if Billy was so genius. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, Billy ended up graduating early too. Yeah, and he was all sad because he had enough credits that he didn't need to be. Yeah, that was sad. Let's first talk about the intro to each character. Each character had a really cool thing, and the thing is, what was really cool between the movie and the new movie, and the reason why I think the movie failed a little bit versus this is the movie was set up to fail. I was very happy to watch the movie, but there wasn't a lot of Power Ranger in the Power Ranger movie. Why? Because they tried to give us a backstory. The thing is, in the show, they had 20-minute long episodes, so they didn't have the luxury of giving us backstory for each character before they morphed. So they morphed them right away, basically skimmed over saying, hey, so the second we give you these powers, you're just going to know how to use them. Boom. We know how to use them now. Don't know how, but it's just kind of the knowledge just beamed into their head. And then as the episodes progressed, you've got a little bit of backstory. You know, you got to see Kimberly and her shopping addiction. You got to meet Trini and her do-gooderness. You got to Jason and Billy and Zach's hip-hop keto going on. You got to see some love interest here. Billy had a love interest for a short time. He had 2 or 3 love interests in the show. He did. With him ending ultimately on Aquitar, which that was a bullshit ending for him. I feel bad for you, David Yost. We'll get to that because that's actually not till Zeo. Zeo. So Zeo Turbo. So we'll wait and get there because we're not there yet. But Mighty Morphin also introduced us. So you start off with the Mighty Morphin Rangers. Their powers, the Dino powers. And that's where they got their original powers. You do learn where they come from a little bit later on in the series, which we'll get there. We're almost there. So Rita then what's bringing the drum roll. Everyone's excited for. So Rita needed to combat this. Rita was losing to these teenagers defending Earth, and Rita was pissed because Rita has been imprisoned in this fucking trash can on the moon for centuries because Zordon imprisoned her there. So Rita has the green power coin. We don't really know how or why she does. I've written a lot of I haven't published any of it, but I've come up with some cool fan fiction of how she has it. I did like how in the movie they kind of said that she was the Green Ranger. That was kind of a cool idea for it. Not my favorite one, but it was still a cool one. But so she takes her power coin, and it's not evil. Everyone calls it like, oh, it's the evil power coin. Well, the Green Ranger power coin was never evil. It's just it was turned evil because of being able. Rita had the power and control over it. She gives it to Tommy Oliver, this new kid in school that has already won the hearts of the Power Rangers because they see him. He's doing karate like the other guys, and then he's emotional and a good guy. So all the girls like, oh, Tommy. So everyone's excited, and of course Tommy's played by Jason David Frank, the legendary Power Ranger. But Rita gives him the power coin. Not only gives him the power coin, makes him the Green Ranger. Gives him the power coin comes with the dragon flute, which right here, but this bad boy right here, which gives him access and control over the Dragon Zord. And also for you people can't see it, I'll bring it a little closer here. It's a gorgeous replica here. You can actually turn it on. Got some cool sound effects, and of course if you or my favorite, and of course you can't go wrong with the original. Yeah, right. But Rita gives him control. So this dragon flute gives him control over the Dragon Zord, and the Dragon Zord is a very powerful Zord, and it's the first time we see another Zord up against the Zord, and that's terrifying. Because not only that, but because of him having a power coin, because Tommy is given a power coin, he actually has been given access to the regular Zords as well. So we actually see him jump into the Megazord. See, because to control the Dragon Zord, he doesn't have to be in the Dragon Zord. He actually just controls it by playing sounds, and he tells it what to do with the flute. But being so, since he doesn't have to be in the Zord, he was able to jump into the Megazord and kick all the Power Rangers out of the Megazord. So that was one of those like, oh my gosh, your mind blew. Like, what? Awesome, cool storytelling right there. Of course, everyone was trying to figure out who the Green Ranger was. Granted, it was in your face the whole time. But the Power Rangers never claimed to be the world's smartest detectives, okay? These are high school kids, so things might have gone a little past them. But Rita also gave, on top of everything he has, the power coin, the dragon flute, gave him the Sword of Darkness, one of the most powerful weapons in the Power Ranger universe. It's god-awful power, and a Sword of Darkness. God, it's a magical weapon. But he's able to pretty much defeat all the Power Rangers. The only Ranger that could go toe-to-toe with him was Jason, the Red Ranger. He was able to keep up with Tommy. It was hard, but he kept up with Tommy really well. So that's why, in my opinion, Jason's probably one of the legendary Red Rangers of all time. Not only being the original Mighty Morphin Red Ranger, but the simple fact that he was able to compete with all that power. Of course, they were able to break the spell. Tommy was able to become a Green Ranger to help them out. So he helped them for a couple episodes. Then they realized his power was draining the more he used it. So it was an easy way for them to cut him off for a couple episodes. Spawn was actually trying to sponsor him into another show of his, the VR Troopers. I think he did a couple episodes, I believe, with VR Troopers. However, fans wanted him back. Everyone wanted Tommy back on the Power Ranger. So Tommy came on back, and he became the Power Ranger we loved. He was fighting, doing a good job as the Green Ranger, defending everyone, doing the badass shit that Green Ranger could do. He didn't really lead the team, but it was almost like he respected Jason, that he wouldn't take the team from Jason, but he followed orders, and he kind of was like the secondary command, even though Billy proved to be one hell of a leader, and so did Zach. Zach was the one hell of a leader. I believe in the so Rita tries to steal back the power coin because the power is draining. Once the power drains, she can steal it from him. However, he transports the power over to Jason. So Jason has the power for a couple episodes of the Dragon Flute. I believe Zach had it too. Now, I know that he did in the Super Sentai, but I'm trying to remember. I think for like an episode or two of the Power Rangers, he had it as well. It's been a while, sorry. I've been rewatching the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers for the last 5 years, and now let's say 4 years. I'm currently on RPM, so I've watched almost 20, not 20, but I've watched at least 15 years of Rangers in like 4 years, so cut me some slack. Watched a lot of Rangers. With those original Rangers, we also got the power weapons, and the Zords. So the original Megazord was awesome. You had the Billy's Triceratops, Zach's Mastodon, Trini's Saber-Tooth Tiger, Kimberly's Pterodactyl, and then of course Jason's Tyrannosaurus Rex. Let me fix this over here real quick. And then of course David Yost, Jason David Frank came out with the Dragon Zord. Then couple things happened. Oh, and before we continue, also the power weapons. Jason had the power sword. Still don't have that, but I would love to. Bandai did make it. We'll see if Hasbro decides to remake it, but it was fun. Trini had the daggers. They made little cheapo ones back in the 90s, but they need to make a legendary one. Hopefully they will. David Yost, Billy had the staff. The staff was super awesome. I really hope they make that. Of course, my favorite one out of all of them, I was going to get made fun of here for, I really, really, really love Zach's battle axe. I mean, this is a big-ass battle axe that turns into a gun. They need to make that bad boy, okay? And then Kimberly had her bow. You got to have the bow. And then, of course, I said Tommy starts off with the Dragon Dagger. Then the show changes gears a little bit. The Zord gets destroyed. They need to access more powers, so they access the Thunder Zord. Thunder Zord, in my opinion, was actually a little cooler looking than the regular Zord. But also doing so, Tommy switches from being the Green Ranger, becomes the White Ranger. Zordon's able to scrape some powers from the morphing grid and create a new Ranger. In doing so, we get Saba, the Talking Saber. Fantastic weapon. It was definitely a good character to help, he could communicate with Tommy, tell him what he should do, and help Tommy in battles. That would give us the White Tiger Zord.